Okay, thank you. Lucy Weinstein?
Thank you. Apologies. And I think I just got gray hair when Dr. Cataletto had to leave. And I didn't have it when I moved to Huntington. I thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
This is the issue of gasoline leaf blowers. I'm Lucy Weinstein. I'm a pediatrician, and I'm chair of the Environmental Health Committee of the Long Island chapter of the Academy of Pediatrics. And I thank you for your work to make Huntington more sustainable, and I certainly hope you'll continue these efforts for the children of Long Island and all of us here. So we're asking you to limit gas leaf blowers in the summer. We particularly don't need them then. There are just so few leaves on the ground. There are many health risks that I'll mention briefly. There's environmental harm, including to water, which we were just talking about the issue of clear water. And there's no downside to limiting GLBs. There's plenty of proof in other communities. Landscape industry doesn't suffer. They don't know that yet, but it's true. In other communities, they've proven they save money, and the town gets good publicity for going green. Okay, so GLBs, leaf blowers, have proven health risks: increased risk of heart disease, asthma, other lung disease. Carcinogens are known to be produced, including benzene. That's awful stuff. Butadiene. They increase the risk of lung cancer, bladder cancer. These are proven risks. Breast cancer is one that's already been proven. The particulate matter, these are small particles. They're so small that they actually lodge in the deep portion of the lungs. We can't see them. So people don't realize how bad they are because we just don't see them. The particulate matter that's released, that's generated, has just recently been quantified by the EPA, and their conclusion is gas lawn equipment is an important source of toxic and carcinogenic exhaust and fine particulate matter. Another recent source, a Harvard School of Public Health study. I think they're pretty reputable, don't you think? Yeah. Anyway, they had a study showing that women who are exposed in the third trimester of pregnancy to these small particulates have an increased risk of having children with autism. I know there are many increased risks, many other risks for autism, but here we have a totally unnecessary and preventable one. So that's another medical risk. The Suffolk Medical Society, by the way, recently got in touch with me. They consider the issue so important that they've actually drafted a resolution. This is just a draft. I'm not allowed to submit it to you.
You can submit it to us in writing, too, when it's done.
Okay. Well, this is just a draft.
Right.
Anyway, they're going to submit this to the statewide Medical Society of the state of New York to ask to ban leaf blowers throughout the whole state. So in other words, there's so many medical organizations and health organizations that would wish to limit it. Children are particularly at risk. That's my purview. Their organs are not fully developed. They're more susceptible to the damage. They're closer to the ground. They breathe more quickly, so they get more of the contaminants in their lungs. And as they're low down and these blowers blow up things, such lovely things like pesticides and rodent feces and heavy metals, just delightful things, they get them into their lungs. And in the summertime, when we're talking about a limit, they're outside more. They're playing, they're not in school, so they have a much greater risk at that time. And then noise, it's not just an annoyance. The noise has been shown to reduce children's attention span, learning, problem-solving, memory. Seriously, good medical research. Noise exposure, okay.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Weinstein, before you go, you should know, and everybody here should know, when the supervisor at the last meeting had talked about we wanted to do a public service announcement and really get the word out and then see what kind of feedback we got from the community. I had Quiet Communities came in. They did a presentation which we filmed, and we're working on putting that together as a PSA to get that out. And then we'll do another survey and see where the numbers are. And then hopefully one day,
Yeah, I was just going to say,
can
there's
all
just no reason to
vote for
delay
it.
it. It's just a win-win situation. We'll help with education. Landscapers are already started to be educated. Cornell Cooperative Extension. Just every minute we delay, kids are just getting.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Weinstein. Thank you. Tova Plott.
Good evening. My name is Tova Plowd, and I am the director of an early childhood center in Comac. I would like to thank the esteemed members of the board for allowing me to speak this evening. I will be brief. I came here this evening to urge you to limit the use of gas-powered leaf blowers to the fall season. As the director of an early childhood center and an adult who suffered from asthma as a child, I'm acutely aware of the damage air pollution has on a growing child and the negative effects it has on both school attendance and performance. I know that there are others far more qualified who are here this evening who will speak of the medical implications, as you just heard from Lucy Weinstein. So I will stick to the effects the damage caused by leaf blowers to our children's health can have on their educational success in school and beyond. Respiratory diseases contribute greatly to a drop in school attendance rates. Children with asthma typically miss more school days due to doctor's appointments, trips to the emergency room, symptoms of asthma, and environmental triggers. A study found about 40% of those students absent from school at any given time has been diagnosed with asthma. It's a huge number. This is an incredible statistic, and one we must work to improve. Absenteeism and illness contributes to lower academic success, low self-esteem, and poor cognitive and emotional growth. As the weather grows warm, we all look forward to spending more time outdoors and enjoy the benefits of suburban life here on Long Island. One of the greatest benefits of living and working here is the fresh air and open spaces. Just as we make sure that the ground is kept clean and soft and safe for our children to play, we must also make sure that the air that they breathe, and that we all breathe, is kept clean to keep them safe. As leaders, educators, parents, and community members, it is our duty to recognize when the risk does not outweigh the gain. In the case of gas leaf blowers during the off-season, it is clear that the risks posed to our children's health and growth are not worth the minuscule benefits one might have by using a leaf blower during the summer season. I ask you this evening to do your part and keep the air here fresh and clean, and I urge you again to consider and pass a proposal to limit the use of gas-powered leaf blowers to the fall season for the health and safety of our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Van James Gurnis.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you guys. My name is Van James Furness. I'm a resident of Huntington, and I definitely support the restriction, or even better, the replacement of gas leaf blowers for less polluting and less noise-offensive options like battery-operated equipment. I would also like to know why the landscaping industry gets to have such a free pass compared with other industries. Construction, for example, has hours of operation that they are pretty strictly enforced, and they even do not get to operate on Sundays at all. But yet, we have several landscaping companies operate well before, well after their allowed times. Doesn't it make sense to think that building or fixing a house where people are going to be protected from elements would be a little more important than having a green grass? Why do landscapers get to work 7 days a week, but builders cannot? Builders have to place a visible sign in front of where they are working, and that is pretty well regulated. Landscapers are supposed to have labels on the trucks, but a good majority of them do not have any. There are regulations on the books for times and levels of noise they're allowed to produce, but that is never enforced. How come? Let's start regulating this industry a little more and give us back the peaceful enjoyment of our properties. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Kathy Krieger.
Hello. My name is Kathy Krager. I'm a resident of Huntington at 279 Crombie Street. This is Karen Jacobs, also a resident of Huntington. Karen's wearing a mask because she has a health condition that is aggravated by the fumes from the gas leaf blowers, and she feels that she has to wear this mask on her property when the gas blowers are in the neighborhood. By now, thanks to Dr. Lucy Weinstein, we've heard some of the scientific facts on how this gas blower fumes situation affects the health of individuals. So I am speaking on behalf of all of us and our health, so that you will pass legislation limiting the use of the gas blowers and the times that you use them. Leaf blowers, while I'm a lover of great inventions, gas leaf blowers are tools that need tweaking. I feel if we continue to allow these machines to be used, they should be modified in order that they do not pollute our air and to lower their noise level, a muffler, for instance. I also feel they should limit the times they can be used. Why should anyone be woken up at 7 a.m. by that loud buzzing right outside their window just because the law says landscapers can operate them? If I were a landscaper, I would be flinching as I started up that engine at 7 a.m., knowing that I'm waking up the entire neighborhood. It's about our quality of life. I have asthma now. Fighting to breathe each day is new to me. I have only recently developed this condition. I'm a singer who wishes to continue to sing, and these machines are damaging our air. Whether you sing or talk or play the sax or paint or you're a billionaire, it will all mean nothing when we cannot breathe. Dramatic? Maybe, but that's where we're headed if we don't get hip to taking care of our planet's air and other resources. Back to the leaf blowers. While rakes create no noise, leaf blowers irritate neighbors, generate CO2 emissions, and threaten public health. And what do they accomplish? Practically nothing. Instead of collecting the dirt and leaves, they simply blow them around. Leaf blowers are inappropriate technology, as defined by E.F. Schumacher in his book, Small is Beautiful. Honestly, one of the best things all of us able-bodied people could do for ourselves is get off the couch and rake our own lawns. When did that simple chore become so difficult, actually, is what I feel. My mom is 74 years old and has 1.5 acres of property and takes care of it with a rake and an electric leaf blower. That's all I really have to say. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bonnie Sages.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie Sager. For those that are wondering why does this issue deserve notice as a problem, here's a recap. The obvious issue is the noise, but the other reasons for attention are pollution, environmental justice, and public health. Two-stroke gas leaf blower engines are exceptionally polluting. A simple benchmark: running a gas leaf blower for 30 minutes creates more emissions than driving an F-150 pickup truck 3,800 miles. Approximately one-third of the gasoline that goes into the GLB engine is spewed out unburned in an aerosol mixed with oil in the exhaust. Cities like Jakarta, Bangkok, and Manila are outlawing two-stroke engines as part of their environmental push. The greatest risks, of course, are to the landscape worker, who uses these machines for many hours a day. They are typically low-wage, non-English-speaking immigrants. As a community, I hope we are not saying, don't bother me with the details about what I'm asking these workers to do to themselves and what lung or hearing problems they might develop as long as I don't see a grass clipping on my property. Is the same as saying, don't bother me with the details of what's happening in sweatshop factories as long as I can purchase cheap, fashionable clothes. Huntington has always shown leadership on environmental issues, and we ask you to lead by example in changing town code to restrict gas leaf blowers during summer months. Establishing Heckscher or another town park as a green zone could serve as a model for sustainable landscape practices. The fertilizer nitrogen-rich grass clippings being blown off hardscapes are ending up in our storm drainage and into the Long Island Sound, contributing to the algae bloom. The Suffolk County North Shore Embayments Watershed Management stated, and I quote, "Improve surface water quality through such measures as discouraging dumping or yard debris and the use of leaf blowers that push yard clippings into the street," end quote. Some believe that there will be a price increase if gas leaf blowers are restricted. We submitted a statement last month from Terry Joshi from the Yonkers Planning Department stating that there have been no price increases in Yonkers. We've also spoken to other towns in Westchester which confirm that. We have heard landscapers that have transitioned to lithium battery blowers are actually charging less in several areas of the country. The break-even point of a lithium battery commercial-grade blower is 9 to 12 months. After that, the savings that come from eliminating gas and oil alone range from $800 to $1,600 per year, depending on gas prices. If you include maintenance costs, the savings become even greater. We are seeing these savings validated by our clients. This is a quote from the American Green Zone Alliance. It is not often you see an issue where something has such specific and direct impacts on so many people. For the sake of our health, our environment, and our quality of life, we ask Town Council to restrict gas leaf blowers during summer months. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Goldbrager? I'm sorry. Goldgraber, right?
Goldgraben, yep. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm Sarah Goldgraben, a preventive medicine and public health doctor at Stony Brook University Medical Center. Today I would like to discuss restricting gas leaf blowers over the summer to help our community stay healthy. As Dr. Weinstein had already mentioned, there's lots of medical risks from the fumes causing increased risks of cancer, bladder cancer, lung cancer, heart disease. But in addition, the noise risk alone has its own effects, and the noise increasing stress can also increase hypertension or high blood pressure, cause hearing loss, sleep disturbance, diabetes. The unwanted and disturbing sound increases the risk for a lot of these negative health outcomes. The noise also reduces children's attention span, learning, problem solving, and memory. And so I wanted to discuss why we should limit these gasoline leaf blowers over the summer. So just to put it in perspective, the gasoline leaf blowers operate for about an hour and can produce more emissions than a car traveling 4,000 miles. So that's longer than from here to California. Over the equivalent of 40 it's the equivalent of 40 cars idling for over an hour. About 5 pounds of particulate matter per leaf blower per hour blow into the air and can take days to settle. They do not have any emission controls on these blowers. They contribute to water pollution. And Americans spill about 17 million gallons of gasoline each year filling their lawn equipment. Most gasoline leaf blowers operate from 90 to 100 decibels, and the World Health Organization defines noise levels greater than 55 decibels as a level that causes health problems. So rakes, brooms, and electric leaf blowers are effective alternatives that are less polluting and reduce costs to landscapers and homeowners, and landscape companies actually can save money this way. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Robert Rockline?
Good evening, Supervisor.